Soon. Turn the audio down. Folks, welcome everybody to Shut Up, Let's Talk, episode 19. What the hell is up, folks? Welcome, joined today by the DarkSighed, aka Carlos Baca.
How's everybody doing? Good evening. Welcome to episode 19.
Oh, how the hell are you, man?
I'm doing good, man.
Thanks for being on the show again, brother.
Yeah, not a problem, brother. It's you know, the first time was a little bit of a tease, and I'm sure the mic was down. People didn't really hear me talking or anything. They didn't really. I was mumbling and just like figuring, and they saw tits and. It went crazy.
They did ask you for tits. You did show the crowd your tits, man.
2 times, and I'm still traumatized, dude. And I want compensation. Like
that's why you showed up.
Pitch in, like there's a foundation and everything. I promise you, I'm gonna make the page.
That's why you showed up in a long sleeve today.
You're not gonna catch me today. Not today.
Show the crowd your tits, man.
2 times, and
make sure. Let's see if everything in the chat looks good. Let's let people trickle in really quick. What the hell is up today, folks? I hope everything is going good with all the peeps at home. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's get the stream started up really quickly. Let me just make sure everything looks and sounds okay. Give us some confirmation if you can, folks.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Jose, how's the thing sound on the phone?
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
you so much for joining us today. Let's get the stream started up really quickly. Let me sound looks and sounds okay. All right, good. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good.
Doing all right.
Anyway, how the hell have you guys been? What the hell's been going on in your week, guys? Thank you so much for joining us again. Watching you at Hall & Oates right now. Charlie, thank you so much, man. I can't believe Charlie's watching us at Hall & Oates right now. It's amazing. Yeah. Dude, how's Hall & Oates? Have they played that Man-Eater song yet? Are you familiar with Hall & Oates?
I'm not. That's why I'm just like, what are you doing?
Hall & Oates is a very famous group from the 80s. I think it's a duo. You know, and they made some very, very famous songs. They made She's a Man-Eater.
She's a man.
Yeah, that's Hall & Oates right there. So
wow, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Dude, that's awesome.
That is amazing, man. Look at Juan. Juan just joined us. Juan just joined us right now.
What's up, brother?
What the hell is up, Juan?
How's everybody doing? Everybody in the chat. You know, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah, everybody get comfortable. Everybody take the first few minutes of the show. We're not going to jump into the topic just yet. We're just let everybody get comfortable, trickle in. I know everybody's probably at Hall & Oates right now. If I was you guys, I'd be at Hall & Oates, right?
I would.
Yeah.
I would. If I would have known about the show, I mean, I would have gone and checked it out.
We're going to Metallica.
We are.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you.
Dude, I can't wait. That's going to be such a great show, dude. It's going to be my first metal show. If a little back history on, you know, the music that I've listened to. I originally, when I started getting to shows, it was first house, but that's obvious, you know, I came from a house background. But once I started going to real shows, live venues, you know, of people playing instruments, you know, live, and it started off with classic rock. So, you know, one of my favorites, well, the top, I would say, as of right now, is Steve Miller Band.
Yes.
And
they're amazing.
I've already seen them 3 times, dude.
Steve Miller Band, Fly Like an Eagle. If anybody's ever heard that song, you've heard Steve Miller Band.
Abracadabra, you know, live, and there's too many. I don't even want to get into that right now.
That's a story in itself.
Yeah, so I started seeing my first classic rock show was Kiss. My brother,
no way,
he drugged me to it. I was like, I don't want to really go, and Alfredo was just
he dragged him to it. He didn't drug him to it.
He drugged me. No, he drugged me like I was a body. Like I did not want to go. He drugged me.
He didn't slip you a roofie.
He did. He like.
Oh man, that's awesome. No, but he took you to a Kiss concert? That's amazing.
He did. But
does Gene Simmons look like as much of a douchebag in person?
They were all painted just how they would with all the gear.
With all the gear. Did his chest hair stick out and tickle his face?
I'm not sure.
Like it always does.
I was in the lawn. But look, like he didn't really drag me to this concert. It was more of him asking me, and I kind of said no at first, and then all his boys were kind of excited about it, and I was just like, whatever, let's just go.
I just want to rock and roll all night.
Yeah, and so I started researching their music a little more because I really have only heard 2 songs at that point.
Right.
So I heard 5 songs and I went to their concert. And when I got to their concert, they played the 6 songs that I expected them to play, and it was such a good show. You know, we hung out, we got a little tipsy.
As you should at any concert. You should obviously have a good amount of alcohol at any show because it does make it just that little bit better, right?
Yeah.
For Metallica, it's going to make it a lot better because the only way to enjoy Metallica is obviously with some alcohol. Guys, you know what? All right, so thank you so much, everybody, for joining today. We got about 7-8 people in the chat right now, so let's go ahead and start up the topic, man. So
let's do it.
You posted something on Facebook recently. You posted up a status asking whether you should be a selfish dick.
Yes. Or selfish dick, and I emphasize on that because, or
to be patient.
Continue,
and
yeah.
You know what? And I guess we're talking about life and relationships, but what if you don't mind, like, what are you referring that to? Like, what kind of like selfish? Like, is it in like a personal level? Is it like a relationship level? Like what?
As I thought about it a little more after I posted it, you know, it was one of those more impulsive, inspirational kind of things that I've been going through.
Yeah.
And I would say it has a lot to do with being selfish, but it's on top of that my confidence, like in everything generalized in my entire life. Yeah. You know, from work to dating to anything. You know, like it's just something that I don't care enough anymore. I'm too focused on what's going on with, honestly, the music, and I'm kind of throwing away a lot of the things that are happening in my life. You know, the family, the job, the people, and the relationships that are outside of me creating music. I'm throwing it away, and I'm not containing it anymore. And it's like I need to start being more patient with life and not letting it get to me, and start reaching out to these people because they've always been there for me. Or I can continue being selfish and going down this path and drive into this music and not have anything to get.
So, I mean, you know, all right, being selfish versus being patient. So it's like, and you know, I responded to that same post, and I was saying, you know, if it was me, you know, I would try to cherry pick the situation, you know, where it's like you got to kind of look at both sides of that spectrum and pick out the best of both, you know. So it's like, you know, in terms of being selfish, it's like, you know, what's good to be selfish about? People can be selfish about money and all this dumb shit, right? But if you can be selfish about, you know, your own personal success, I guess, right? If you can be selfish about your own goals, selfish about achieving your own success, so that at some point in your life you can kind of help another person if you can make time for them, you know? It's really it's not about being selfish and depriving somebody else or being mean to somebody or any of that kind of stuff. It's really about being selfish so that you can provide for yourself and somebody else. How are you going to, you know, it's that classic thing, like, how are you going to take care of somebody else if you can't take care of yourself, you know? Which
is kind of where I'm at. You know, I've done so many selfless things, and I've given so much to the people around me, and you know, it is draining, man. Like, there's a lot of good comes from it because you have good vibes, you have people that really do appreciate it, and then you have people that really just drain that energy out of you, and it's hard to continue to give in a world like it is right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of stuck between, you know, really wanting to be selfish to myself, or if I should just continue to just be patient with life and deal with it how it comes, and continue to be here with people. But I feel like right now it's a moment that I need to grab it.
Yeah.
And I need to really take my life into control, and afterwards you reach out to the same people that were always here for me. And that's where I'm stuck. I'm drawn between those two lines because I don't want to have to give up these close friendships that I've had, but I'm at a point that I really need to just kind of take a huge risk and just jump.
Right.
You know, I got to fly at this point. And there's a lot to put on this side of the end of the bridge that I don't want to give up.
Yeah, man.
But there's so much on this side that I've never seen.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm torn between, you know.
Relationships, I mean, dating in general and relationships are tough, man, because, you know, when a lot of people, they get into, like, long-term relationships and when they get married and stuff, you know, like, they call that settling down because at that point, you know, you kind of, it's not that you don't have to necessarily, but it's so hard to maintain a healthy relationship if you're so busy on your own time, you know? But at the same time, how are you supposed to achieve your own personal success if you don't do that, you know? And that's always kind of been the main problem in a lot of relationships, I think, is that maybe one of the two don't feel like they don't get enough attention, or they don't feel, you know, they don't get enough communication or whatever. But it's hard when you're still. And the thing is, we're both 26, so we're in this transitionary phase in our life where if you're not, I guess if you're not working towards your own personal goals and stuff, you're going to be kind of late by the time you get into your mid 30s and stuff.
Yeah,
and you can't.
I have to agree.
And the thing is, like, especially for us, if we're trying to do music and stuff, like we're trying to do music, and we're in we're in a punk band that we have, we're doing
Frijoles Negros.
We're doing our own personal stuff too, and you do raps and stuff. I do, and a bunch of other stuff. You're playing guitar now too, and I do a bunch of things. Imagine trying to be 35, 40 years old, trying to push your raps on a bunch of young kids. It doesn't come out the same way.
That's very true.
And that doesn't mean you're not a good rapper. It doesn't mean you don't have any talent or whatever. But it's not the same. You know what I mean?
Not, the energy is completely different. They watch your video and then you're just like, who is this guy? Like, why are you even here? Like, why is this even happening right now?
Yeah, like you're a grandpa, man. Like, shouldn't you be like, where are your kids at?
Yeah, like if you didn't blow up while you were young and grow into like that persona that you just run this, like, you just can't do it anymore.
Exactly.
And unless you're into a different genre of music that it's more of the soul behind it, not just the image.
Yeah.
Because commercial music as of right now is just image. You don't really need anything. You just need the image, and you can just be like.
Yeah, it is about selling a lifestyle. But the thing about going back to what we were talking about, like if you're not selfish about your own personal goals, I get it. It can be kind of tough, and that's why I think depending on who you are, you got to kind of find somebody that can respect that selfishness, Yeah. And there are a lot of people that do, You got to find somebody that's kind of working on themselves, And that's something that I always try to look for, somebody that's really focused on their own personal success, because I would, who wants to, like, I look at a lot of relationships around me, and I look at a lot of people I know, and there's always somebody that's reliant and dependent on somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And then if that person passes away, or if that person goes to jail, or whatever the situation is, I don't know, the dependent person is left up the creek, right? No paddle.
Yeah. Nothing they can really do. They just have to.
Yeah, because they spend so much time relying on somebody else.
Exactly, and so that's where. I mean, I want a self-sufficient person. I want somebody that really handles their own and really does their own, and they understand the time difference that we have because they're working, I'm working.
Yeah.
It's hard to find that, especially now and especially here. And I'm going to say here as a big base in Miami in general, that it's just a lot of people are out here to just have a good time, go to the clubs, go to the scenery, tour around here. And there's a lot of people that are really into their artistry and their... And being self-sufficient and stuff like that, but those people really, it's hard to get their attention. As me myself, like it's hard to get my attention because I'm so focused and driven that I take things and they just like whiz right by my face. I don't even get it anymore. Like I'm so awkward with the dating scene and how people like really react to things at this moment in my life that it just like flies by me because I'm just self-driven right now and for me to get out of that stasis, I'm gonna need somebody who just like breaks that barrier.
That was a good snap.
And thank you.
That was the most high quality snap. What? Goddamn.
Like they just have to break that barrier. It just has to be something that like I can see that they're driven to their own goals. They're driven to their own path, and I'm gonna just go on my ride while they go on theirs. But we understand that.
Yeah, man. And but you know what? You said the key word, dude. Understanding. To understand, you have to understand each other and where you are at that point in life. It's really the person that wants more affection versus that wants more attention versus the person who can't give it.
Yep.
That is the big disconnect in relationships,
And I would say now more than ever because, like everybody says, like all these fancy videos that get posted on social media for them to get likes and comments, everybody's always looking at their phone. And that's one of the biggest issues right now in relationships, that if you can't handle giving that attention because you're so self-driven, and then you have that other side that wants that attention, is craving it, and you can't give it to them, social media is in their hands.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yeah.
And that's that. They fall into a bunch of, fake likes, a bunch of fake comments, a bunch of shit that doesn't really matter. They never really got to know you, but you fall into that. And then that's another part of this. Should I be selfish? Should I be patient? Should I understand the way that we're advancing in life, like how technology is a big part of what we're doing now? And you can communicate with people in your fingertips, and not at this point, and you don't even have to talk to them. In person, I'm one of the most awkward people you would meet if I were to try to date you. On a phone, I can talk all day. I write. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I can talk all day on the phone. And, you know, if it wasn't for me hanging out with you guys, I would really not know how to talk to people. I forgot how to do that shit.
Understandable, man. You know, I guess I was just thinking about, you know, in terms of being patient with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, we've been talking about the selfish aspect, you know, trying to achieve your own personal success, but looking on the understanding aspect, the patient aspect of it, it's kind of like, you know, you also have to look at what age of life we're in, and going back to it, you know, we are 26, mid-20s, and I'll tell you one thing,
years.
And I mean, but also it's a crazy time, because, you know, I look back at it, and lately, it feels like nowadays more people are putting posts on Facebook and kind of coming to me personally and really talking to me about how they're just kind of at a breaking point in their lives, you know, and it's this mid-20s thing where people feel like they're just the walls are kind of closing in, you know, because they're out in the real world, and job that they're not happy with, degree that they studied and paid for, but can't find any work in the field. There's so many problems that people have to deal with, rising rent, blah blah blah, you name it, whatever, all those issues, and it's a tough time. You know, a lot of people feel like they can't, they just don't have a ground to stand on, and then when they fall into relationship problems, they just kind of go a little crazier, you know. So it's you know, and crazy is a strong word. I don't want that to offend anybody, but it's
guilty.
It's a tough, but it's a tough time though. It's a tough time in everybody's life, you know. So it's kind of like when you want to be patient with people nowadays, being patient is hard, but it's kind of necessary in your mid-20s right now, because, in my opinion, you know, a lot of people are going through so much. It's hard for them to communicate what they want. It's hard for them to be able to communicate exactly how they feel, because they're confused themselves. They're trying to find, and it's going back to, they're trying to find their own personal success while trying to accommodate you.
Yeah, and a lot of the times they're in their own mental mess at the moment that you try to reach out to them, and they just really don't have an answer, and they just push. I just can't right now, and then you just walk away. Like it's one of the biggest problems between me and my parents, and I'm not even gonna lie about it. I get into the house and I'm like, I gotta grab my equipment, I gotta do this. So when they try to talk to me, it's just like, all right, I gotta go, and then I just leave. And it's not something that I'm proud of, but I don't give them the attention they deserve. But at the same time, you know, they do annoy me, because I'm trying to like go to my own goals, go do my own thing, and it's always like, oh, do this, do that, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah, I mean, that's also the tough thing about trying to find your own independence while having your parents around.
Yeah,
still, I guess, you know,
and
that's a tough balance too.
With people, with relationships in life general, I'm just tired of being so patient. I feel like I need to start being a little more selfish, because biggest example I can get into is my job.
Okay.
Now, with my job, I've been working for this company for about 4 years, maybe 5, on and off. You know, there's been problems, there's been accidents, there's been whatever the case may be, and I had time away from the job, but I've been there for a long time. So being a part of this company, I'm not going to talk wages, but it got to a point that I'm supposed to be valued at a certain aspect based on what I've researched, my position is, and what I am doing, and what I'm capable of doing, and they completely undermine me. Oh. And you see, I've been patient because I'm the type that I'm never going to ask for a raise. I'm not going to ask you what my worth is. I'm going to let you determine what my worth is, and if I don't feel I'm worth that, there's going to be a day that I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
So it's getting closer and closer to that day, because they really are taking advantage of me, and I've been patient for so many years that now it's getting to a point between work, between life, how it's going, between the dating games that I've been going through. It's just kind of one of those things that, like, I have to be selfish as of right now, and I have to make decisions for myself. Or do I continue to just let this pile up so I can find a solution in this to get my way out while I'm still here? Because I'm close to just packing up and going somewhere else and just being like, yo, this is a new life.
Right.
And that's it.
I mean, you know, that's a good way to look at things, I guess, you know. But you know, sometimes that's what life is so unpredictable, man. Going back to, you know, the whole patience thing. Sometimes, you know what, I lived in Virginia for a while, and then I reached a breaking point, and I did pack my things and go. Yeah. And I came back here. And it was something like that really changed my life, and I'm glad I did that. And I had patience for a long time, but that eventually here's the thing, okay? When you try to be a good person, and it's just how it's going to go. When you try to be a good person, you're going to try to accommodate people, and people are going to be usually split into two categories. You got good and bad people a lot of the time, okay? And a lot of those bad people are going to take advantage of that generosity that you give them. So if you try to be a good person, be prepared to be taken advantage of, but also try to prepare yourself to laugh it off later, because that's what you have to do. Because you will get taken advantage of. Think about your own kindness, let it bounce off, move on, because, you know, it's just going to happen. And when you're a nice person, you get taken advantage of. And, you know, that's the thing. You can have patience up to a certain point, and then you got to go do your own thing, and then you have to be selfish after you have the patience. I think patience and selfishness is a cause and effect sometimes with certain people's relationships. Build the patience up until you can't anymore, then be selfish.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, that I've been so patient with everything in life, because you know, a lot of people may not know this, some of you do, but there was a point in my life that I was heavily addicted to heavy drugs, and you know, I did a lot of coke, and I did a lot of, you know, promethazine. I smoked a lot, I did a lot of shrooms, and it was just a big hole that I created for myself. And for me to be able to pick that up and let it go after a really dramatic relationship, that was the hardest part. You know, I did it for multiple reasons, and one of them was for my own health. It was very bad for me, and I knew that.
Yeah.
But since then, it took 4 years for me to gain this patience, and it's been 4 years of fighting myself and to be patient and to understand, because I was all over the place. I had no patience. If I wanted it, I got it. And that's it. There was no telling me no at that point. I would just like, all right.
Let's move on to the next thing that you can get it from, right?
Next. And living like that, that's why, like, I say going back to being a selfish dick, because I was a selfish dick at that point in my life, and it was so easy being that person because I got everything I wanted.
Right.
So it's at the point that I'm like, I'm tired of being so fucking nice. And that's how I have to say it, because it's one of those things that I'm upset already. Because
it's a breaking point, dude. You gave so much to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Kathy says you could be nice to people, but not all the time. You need to have time for yourself too, and it's true. You do.
Yeah, man. And a lot has gone down. And since the time that I started being clean, I got run over by a forklift. So I had to be patient. I had to be patient and sit in bed for 3 months until my doctor put me into a boot and allowed me to walk in crutches. And after the crutches, I was still not able to really walk in my foot until they told me, all right, you can go ahead and walk on the boot after another 2 months. So it took more or less 6 months before I can put my feet down. And at that point, I was still walking with a cane. I couldn't really walk.
How long was that recovery process?
The recovery process took a total of 8 months.
And what did you break?
It shattered. All right, let's just do the
side note here. We're still on the topic of patience versus selfishness, but we're talking about Carlos's injury. Okay.
Yeah, no, but it's the injury, but it's the patience involved with the time frame, with the time frame of what I was going through, you know. And I had to be patient. So the forklift ran my foot over, and what it did was this entire section. Let's say the wrist, this little section kind of broke, not the ankle entirely, but it was a little part of ligament that's set here on your foot, and then it crushed all of these toes except my thumb. So all of this got crushed. So my knuckles remained intact, and the toes remained intact, but this entire center point and the ligament that holds all your muscles together in your foot on the left side, gone. Completely crushed. It was like, the doctor told me,
it's like a fucking Saw movie.
He told me, the doctor told me after the surgery that it looked like somebody put my foot in a blender.
No.
And when he went inside, everything looked like just liquid. And he just had to find the bone, find where the nerves were, find where the muscles needed to be, and he just had to align it. And I wish I had a photo, but that's no. That's actually the company I still work for. So aside from me not suing them for what I would already be like business oriented. Yeah, bro, I would have. We'd be doing this out of a much nicer studio. Dude, it would have just been so different. I would have had so much money right now. So I decided not to do that, man. That's the company that my mother worked for many years. She's already been there almost 20 years. Nice. And it's something that's fed my family for this long because she's worked there for so long. So that food in turn has come around to me. So I couldn't do that to them. They've been so nice to my family. They've always looked out. So I just walked it off and kept going. Patience with them. Patience with my injury. I came back. and I was doing fine. After my therapy, I was doing all right. And then walking normal again and in shoes, my toe got this little angle and it stayed under my other toes. So I needed to go for another surgery so that they can put a screw in my foot and realign it and make sure the ligament doesn't let it bend again.
Oh my God.
So
all right, guys,
the exact same day of my injury, April 10th of 2014, in 2015, the exact same day, April 10th, I had the second surgery for the same injury. So we called it the lucky date because I was able to walk, I was able to run, I can swim, I can do everything like normal. I can dance, I can jump around. It's the same thing. It's just a little more stiff and it gets a little tired. So after a little bit, my knee blew out because it was overcompensating weight. Had a surgery for that. So amongst all of these, all the years that I had to withdraw, and I finally came back to sense. Boom! I have all these injuries, and now I have to come back to sense from being isolated from people. Being alone, really understanding that, I'm a piece of shit, and changing my life, and really attacking the things that I really cared about, which was always music. Yeah. And so I was patient for many, many years, and I went through a lot of things, bro. And in this time, it's gotten to a point that, all right, I've let it boil the pot enough, and I'm about to just jump out.
Yeah.
It's too hot, and I gotta just jump out, and that's it. Like I don't have to deal with this anymore. There's another pot that's right there, and it's not even turned on yet.
But I've known you for a while, and you always seem to find your way. You always seem to find a place that I don't know. You always seem to figure it out, So that's a.
Yeah, but I do have to say, bro, that I am one with these millennials that are ruining everything. Oh. These monopolies are going down, dude. I'm not dealing with this anymore. All right,
check this out. Let's get a final thought on this selfishness versus patience deal. All right, now, in terms of, I'm asking you on two different planes right now.
Okay.
In terms of relationships, selfishness versus patience, what's your final thought on that? Well, if you can give the wonderful 16 people viewing at the moment an idea on what is your approach to that? Selfishness versus patience in relationships, dating.
In relationships and dating. My selfishness would be for me to just continue to learn who I am as my own. And go as many years as it takes for me to find myself until I can really say that I want to be in a relationship. And then me being patient is me giving the opportunity to somebody to get to know me and let my walls down again just to get hurt. But I allow the hurt because I want to be patient. And I'm at the point that, which one do I take? Do I take the years to really get to know myself and to really push on and to see where life takes me alone? Or do I stay patient and in terms, hopefully, find somebody that I really can connect with? Because the longer you stay alone, the longer you stay single, the harder it is for somebody to get you out of that mentality, So do I stay selfish or do I stay patient is where I'm at. And I would like to think that I'm patient. I like to get to know people. I like to talk to people. But at the same time, my walls are really high, and I want somebody that is in my wavelength.
When you're single for a long time, you kind of grow to really enjoy your independence, and it's really hard to give it up after a while.
That's what I'm getting at. So it's like I'm at the point with relationships that I would say I want to be nearly 100% selfish. I want to talk to people. I want to get to know people. I want to be friends with people.
Right.
But I just feel that nobody's going to take me serious right now. I'm going to be running around making different types of music. I'm unstable, and there's just a lot of things going on in my life that I want to try to create. I want to start businesses. I want to make music. I'm an entrepreneur. I can't just stay here and it's not life.
Stay at home and go out and watch Netflix all night, right?
And everybody does that. And so I'm at the point that I want to chase my dreams.
I mean, now's the best time, dude. 26. Now's the best time.
Yeah, man. And but on top of me starting now and really chasing my dreams from now, I also feel that when you have that partner that really you worked for you two to really understand each other, and you drug yourselves out to a certain point from yourself to be able to move forward as a power couple. And I feel that that's out there, and I know that it's out there. I've met certain women that I would want to do that with, and it's just not something that's capable. We just don't. It's not there.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, do I stay patient to wait for that? And to hope for the best, or do I just focus and drive everything into the music and push myself to that next plateau and then see where it's at there. And
Nice.
and I feel that that's what I want to do, but that's why I ask people. I want your opinion, like, because in a certain point, it will just be very self-centered action. It will just be my music, and you can stay where you are, like. And I don't want to be like that because
No,
I love
I agree.
people. I love the interactions that I have, but it's really getting to the point that every minute that I'm outside of my day job, I want to be in a studio.
I mean, that's you're passionate about it, dude. And that's the thing, you know, like for people, and we're talking men, women, cats, dogs, whatever. Okay, doesn't matter. For people, okay. Priority is a very hard thing to balance, okay. And when you make a priority for boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, it's really hard to make priorities for your family and friends and your hobbies. Sometimes there are people that can do it all, sure, but they try to time manage everything, so it's really difficult to make time for things. Gomez says Netflix can cause new humans to appear. Yes. Oh, that's hilarious. Kathleen says, "Oh, Carlos didn't know you guys knew each other." Kathleen is very good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Good to see you, Kathleen. Thank you, everybody, for joining the chat today, guys. I mean, I'm sorry, we've been so busy in the conversation, I haven't had much time.
Thank you, Samuel.
I haven't had much time to even acknowledge the chat. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. It's been awesome so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty deep, man.
It's been a good one. It's been a good one. It's not even over yet. Best part.
I did tell you it was gonna get a little deep, and I was gonna open up myself, you know,
That's
to
what
a lot.
But
That's what she said.
I'm sorry.
That's what she said.
Just do you right now, and your girl will come. That's what she said.
Oh, you know what? I completely
Kathy.
forgot. Even if you're not watching, I want to give a shout out to Willie. He told me to shout him out today on the show. So shout out to you. Chili Willie. What's up, brother?
Erica in the chat says, "I think you should do what you're doing now, working towards being successful and following your dreams. Who knows? Maybe during that journey you'll meet your person." Happy face.
Well, thank you so much.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers across the room. And anybody at home. Cheers.
Everybody say what's up to Jose too. What's up?
Cheers.
All right, so my whole thing, dating versus, dating.
Yeah.
Selfishness versus patience in a relationship. It's the same thing I said earlier. I'll say it again for anybody that missed it. My whole thing is cause and effect, okay? Be accommodating to that person. You know, find somebody who's obviously understanding to you and your life, okay?
Yeah.
If you're somebody who is busy and doesn't have a lot of time to give, make sure you find somebody that is okay with the time that you can give. And find somebody who's also doing their own thing so that they're not waiting on your text every 5 minutes, you know? Mm-hmm. You have to find somebody that's self-interested also. So, I mean, that's obviously the first move. Second move, have that patience. Start with the patience first, you know? If you're in love with somebody or you feel like it can go somewhere, make some time for that person. It's okay. Life is short, you know what I mean? There's only 24 hours in a day, and if you're sleeping 8 hours, there's a lot less hours in a day.
Yeah, that's true.
So, there's not 24 hours in a day. So just make sure that whatever time you have, just make the most of it, okay? And be patient until that person starts taking advantage of you. Then be selfish. Go after what you want. Leave that person. Go find another person that can go ahead and do that for you, because you will find that person. All right. Yep. You know what? I realize that a lot of people just don't want to leave the person they're with because they don't want to.
They're comfortable.
Well, they don't want to deal with the effort. They don't want to. They don't want
somebody else, and
they don't want to deal with the effort of having to leave. They don't want to deal with the effort of having to get all your shit back. You know, they don't want to deal with having to meet new people.
Yeah, like be yourself for a while and then meet new people, and it's hard. It's hard, and a lot of people stay for the comfort and the fear of change.
Exactly.
So there's a point in relationships that you have to be very selfish, but during the relationship, be very patient. And I understand that as of before, I'm just going to be selfish as of right now, and really see where I'm going with the topic of life in general and selfishness versus patience.
Yes.
The majority of this topic, I would say, leans towards work, because with the rest of my life, the other hours that I have to myself, I'm completely content with 100%. I spend the time hanging out with the people that genuinely really care about me, want to be there for me. You know, we hang out, we work, we play, it's a good time with my friends. It has nothing to do with the life that I have. Mainly work and home. Work and home is where I'm at right now, because I try to be patient with home, and a lot of arguments go down. There's a lot of things that happen in my house. You know, I'm not going to even speak about personal related issues.
Yeah. We all got them. You know it.
Yeah, but in the home, there's a lot that goes on. And on top of that, I have the work. And I work with... The majority of my family works in the same company.
That's tough. That's hard.
My mother works there. My father works there. My brother works there. I work there.
Wow.
And all of us work together. So we come home, and everybody wants to talk about work. Everybody's fighting about work. Everybody's arguing about life.
Because you take your work home. Ugh.
Yeah, and everybody's arguing about life too.
It's a nightmare.
And it's just. I've been so patient with it. It's been so long, and you know, at a certain point, I had moved out. That's another story in itself. But I had moved out, and I came back. You know, because my mother asked me to. She needed help, so I came back.
Sure.
And when I came back, it's just so hard to deal with. You know, all they do it's very intense at home. And aside from it being very intense at home, I have to deal with work for the majority of my day, and with my job, it's very intense. You're underpaid, you're undermined, you get a lot of pressure put on you. You're in charge of multiple areas, and you just. They don't appreciate it, and I know if I go into another company that immediately they're gonna appreciate the type of work ethic.
Oh, you have a really good work ethic, yeah.
And so
you have a strategic mindset.
Yeah, I always try to cut things short. Like if I can do this in half the time, 100% correct, I'm gonna do it.
That's why we get on, because I'm very much the same in that regard.
Dude. And so that's my biggest thing right now, that I want to be selfish, but it's just so hard to afford it. You know, it's hard to afford to just move out on your own here.
Yeah, it is. It costs a lot to get to
on your own.
Even just have a 1-bedroom apartment is quite a bit of money.
Like you can have an efficiency, but you still don't have your privacy. That's their home with their little side room, and I don't want to be in somebody's side room. I want to have
illegal
my own
anyway because they're not paying taxes on that.
Yeah, I'd rather be on my own.
Exactly. Taxation of theft, quoting Faden right now.
Faden. What's up, brother?
Shout out to Faden. Shout out to Eric Faden.
I want to just say thank you to everybody who's been involved with this conversation. I know it's more of one of the deeper conversations that are like involving someone's personal life and like attributes and where he comes from in this state. But I appreciate you guys. You know, I really do. Like this is more of a therapy session for me, like a live therapy session, because I don't talk about this. Man. I don't talk about this. This is something that I keep to myself. I could literally go months without saying anything to anyone, and I'm perfectly fine. I'll smile through it. I'll laugh through it. All of you guys know me to be a chipper person, but you guys don't see the darkness behind it. You know, it is really hard to wake up every day and try to be happy.
Yeah, man. It's a mission. But that's that whole you know. Is life all about the journey or the destination type of thing? You know, it is hard to be happy, but you know, making the effort is part of the fun, I guess. You know.
Yeah, dude. Oh, sorry. And I'm starting to live more for the journey now. And
Sam says vent that shit.
Huh?
Sam says vent.
Thank you, bro.
Vent that shit.
I appreciate it. I think I'm a little behind.
Yeah, might be a second behind, yeah. But
I think I'm more than a second behind. Look at that. I see facts. Can't live in Miami by yourself.
Helene says, looks like someone sucked the love out of you. That can happen.
Life. Yeah, I call her life.
Yeah.
And drugs.
Yeah, drugs can do that.
The withdrawal from drugs was very hard to get by. I will not lie. Yeah, it was very hard.
Well, I mean, coming from a guy who's never really done hard drugs, I don't really know what that's all about. I don't understand that side of the fence, you know.
You know, it's like petty shit that you do just to make more money. You try the people you know, you try the people you love, you take from the people you love, you cut corners, and you do things that you don't do. You're a shitty person. I was a shitty person.
But you learned. That's the thing, man. That's what you got to pat yourself on the back about, and that's what I always tell you. And I hope that you absorb it when I do tell you. But that you are a very specific kind of person that can look back and think, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah.
And that's very rare. You know, a lot of people, they just make their mistakes, and then they'll either be... A lot of people make the same mistake, and they'll always either end up being this washed up shell of who they used to be, or they'll just keep doing the same thing. But it's very rare for a person to be able to look at mistakes they made and then fix them and keep moving forward. So that's kind of where you have to commend yourself, and that's where I commend you, at least, you know, on that thing. That's a lot more than most. So,
thank you, man.
You know,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you gotta.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Another cheers.
Cheers. A roundabout cheers to that. To moving forward.
I'm gonna move
forward,
y'all.
Move forward, everybody. All right. You know what? Let's. It's been about half an hour. Let's move on to the next topic.
All right.
Next topic. And thank you so much for that one. That was a good one, actually.
Thank you.
Next topic. All right. So recently, somebody posted on Facebook, as they do on Facebook,
as everybody knows.
Somebody posted that millennials are killing chain restaurants. What do I mean, chain restaurants? I mean, I'm talking about Chili's. Hey, my good friend Carlos Ortiz just joined the chat right now. He's a good friend of mine from 2nd grade. Me and him used to pro wrestle during sleepovers and all sorts of goofy shit like that. All right, so that man put me in a sharpshooter and it hurt. So I put him in a Boston Crab and he cried. No, I'm kidding. He didn't cry. Anyway, sorry guys. I digress. Guys, so people have been talking about chain restaurants not getting as much business lately. And I'm talking about Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm talking Chili's, Ruby Tuesdays, Applebee's. Do they even have Applebee's anymore? I don't see it.
I've seen a few. Yeah.
Anyway, restaurants like that. Okay, millennials. We're talking people. Carlos is laughing about it. What's up, my brother? Now. Millennials, okay? And it's funny, a lot of people don't know this, but millennials actually extend into people in their very early 30s also.
Yeah.
But we're talking mostly 20 to 26. Let's talk us, okay?
Millennials. Let's talk us.
So they're saying that people our age are not going to these chain restaurants. Why do you think that is, or do you want me to go? Do you want me to give my piece first?
My personal opinion is because it's the same generic food. Same generic meal, same generic type.
We've seen it, right?
Same generic service, same everything, and quite honestly, they don't spruce anything up. Have you ever seen like Bar Makeover? That these people have this same company for like years, like 16 years, 18 years, and then this bar rescue comes, boom, completely invents their entire bar, and now it's the most popping bar.
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
So it's like Applebee's and all these places have continued the same tradition from when they started, and it's like, bro, we're a lot more modern at this age. Give us stuff that we're looking for. A lot of people nowadays are looking for something fast but healthy, something quick, something good, and that's why a lot of people like these places like these little like vegetarian spots. There's one right next to Chipotle on 154th. I forget the name of it. Damn.
Splurge.
I don't know.
The vegan spot.
It's not a vegan spot. It's a place where you can
shout out to Splurge anyway. Go out there. My good, well, not a good friend of mine, but she's a friend of mine. She runs the spot. So say what's up to Priscilla.
So it's like we just don't like the menu. We don't like the way it is. I personally don't. I go there and I get steak every time.
I was just about to say, here's the thing. Okay, we had Faden on 2 episodes ago, Eric Faden. We talked about veganism, we talked about ketogenic diet, okay? Veganism is a really popular thing nowadays amongst millennials, okay? And not just veganism, but vegetarianism, even just healthier eating as an umbrella term.
Habits, yeah.
As an umbrella term.
Life habits in general.
Yeah, so, when you look at these places like Chili's and TGI's or whatever, you look at all these places, what do they advertise? The big steak dinner,
the big potato,
with the big mashed potato, with the gravy on everything.
Yeah, it's super greasy. Like, and they show the grease pot that they cook it in. They're like, here, look, you see all this? Like, I cooked it in this.
Yeah,
this right here.
And we'll give you a tub of ranch.
And you're like, enjoy.
Yeah,
like, I got through half my meal and I feel like I should blow up.
And that's the thing, and that's the thing, man. And for the price that you get, and here's my opinion. Okay, my opinion on this whole thing: millennials are not going to chain restaurants because they're buying the food, they're buying the ingredients and making it at home.
Yeah, a lot of us are cooking already. Like a lot of the people in this generation, our current generation. I'm gonna say that a few years behind us is not where we're at, and there's very few that are, but like our age group is more already on that sense of living on their own. Either they have kids already, they're married, and they're already cooking.
It's our first stages of independence.
Yeah, it's our first stages of independence, and I don't feel like the later millennials are even there just yet, but they're getting there.
The 95 and up babies.
Yeah, they're not there just yet. They still have like the mom and dad help. I still currently have the mom and dad help, and that's because I came back, and I'm trying to escape now. Like now, it's like I gotta go. But aside from that, we're cooking for ourselves. We're meal prepping. We're doing things that people
I'm not
don't spend money. Yeah, I eat whatever I want. I don't meal prep at all. But
I pizza prep.
But the millennials that are making a big difference against these chain restaurants, I'm probably not. I do go to restaurants myself. Cheers. And
Kathy actually asked, "What's your favorite restaurant?"
My favorite restaurant, I'm gonna have to say Flanagan's. It's one
really
yeah, Flanagan's.
Whoa! All right, really?
Yeah, Flanagan's is one of my favorite restaurants, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do they have that you like so much? I don't disagree, but I'd like to know.
The dolphin fingers.
I've never heard them. What are the dolphin
dolphin fingers? Yeah.
Nice.
The mahi
Fish sticks.
Like fish sticks, basically.
He actually said fish sticks. Most people just make the joke and say it close, but
yeah, no, I did it. I said fish sticks, dude. Like
you just said fish sticks. Thank you, South Park, for ruining the show.
You destroy everything. South Park is so good and so bad at the same time.
It's pretty good at being the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it is.
Kathy asked, "What's your favorite restaurant?"
That's the what we're at. Yeah, hell yeah.
All right.
Oh.
So my favorite restaurant would have to be Flanagan's. They not only the environment, but I just like the majority of the food there. Even the wings are great there. I mean, if you show me a bar that's a lot better than that, I'll be there every day, and I'll say that's my favorite.
Yeah, true.
I don't explore a lot. I personally I stay in my same general areas of the things that I do, and that's about it. I'm boring if you want to say it to a sense. I do explore in certain aspects, but not like that. Not bars. I like to go to the bars that are going to give me the
Gomez is asking, have you ever taken a full rack to the head at Flanny's sober?
Yes, I have.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
If we're talking favorite restaurants, I'm a big fan of Thai food. There's a place on the way to North Miami, I believe, right next to that Krispy Kreme. There's a place called Panya Thai, which is a very, very good Thai restaurant. They've got very good food. It's a little bit on the pricier side. You might be paying $10-15 more than what you want. But that's a pretty good sacrifice to make over some very good authentic Thai food. I've been there plenty of times.
Yeah,
very good restaurant.
I mean, not until 2017 did I start eating anything outside of the culture of Spanish and American.
Yeah.
You're the first plate that I've ever tried of like authentic Indian food.
Wow, awesome. Yeah, so, my mom is a very good cook. We had her on the show last time.
Yeah, that was so good. Yeah,
Confirmed by
I was here.
DarkSighed. She was a good cook.
Yes, she really is. I mean, we had these little I don't even know what they're called, but these little fried, like, it's like
pakoras they're called.
Right, so that's what
pakoras.
They're called. So the pakoras were delicious, bro. I'm about to go off screen and grab one, but I'm just gonna wait. I'm not gonna eat on screen.
They are very good.
Just wait. They're great.
All right, so people are cooking at home.
People are cooking at home.
People are cooking at home, and the thing is, people are eating. First of all, people are eating healthier. The stuff that they offer at these restaurants is not healthy. So the stuff they're offering at Chili's, the ranch-soaked steak, is not.
Why buy an $140 tab of drinks at this restaurant when you can buy a bottle and a few beers with your boys? And that's where a lot of them are at the same time.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't go to bars unless we all plan to, like, let's go out. Yeah,
Another thing is that now with this, and I'd like to call it a BuzzFeed generation, because nowadays BuzzFeed, the millennials are also, to me, they're known as the BuzzFeed Huffington Post generation. It's like the people that read that website, and now people don't want to spend that extra money at Chili's or TGIF, when they could just be spending it on a plane ticket to go somewhere that they've always wanted to go.
That's very true.
Because right now traveling is a really big thing,
Traveling is a really big thing, and that's one of the things that I personally wanted to do, and because of personal issues, I had to back down from those plans, but it's still in my itinerary. I do need to start traveling.
See the world a bit more. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people nowadays, they spend a lot of time online. They spend a lot of time wanting to be more cultured, man. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, but dinner at TGIF or Ruby Tuesdays is not going to necessarily give you the culture thing. That's chain American food.
Yeah.
If you want to learn about American chain food culture, yeah, go ahead and do that. But most people nowadays, they'd like to actually they'd look up a recipe online, or these Facebook recipes that you see, those little 1-minute videos of recipes that they make really quick. A lot of people are just making those things at home, dude.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
And a lot of people right now are pushed to. You could say whatever you want about millennials. A lot of people call them lazy, but at the same time, they're also kind of a generation that's been told you're on your own, kids. A lot of them have been told, like, yeah, well, you go figure it out. And a lot of these people, they don't necessarily want to just keep ordering pizza. A lot of them want to make it at home now. It's really all about, doing what you can for yourself, which I think is the opposite opinion of millennials. But, being in the generation, I guess that's my response to that.
Yeah, and being in the generation, I'm the type to order stuff because I'm tired of cooking at home. I did it my entire life growing up. We always cooked at home. We always did, and I was always there in the kitchen helping and cutting. And I do know how to cook and maintain a healthy lifestyle of eating by cooking. But me personally, I've already gotten to the point that I'm just super lazy. But I don't like chain restaurants because they're just out of pocket. Like they're out of pocket. And personally, a lot of people are a lot more modern. Like they want more modern plates. Like you notice that these places like even sushi restaurants never go out of anything because they're super traditional, old school, but they modernize themselves.
Yeah.
Like they have modern furniture, they have modern like looks and lights and but they modernize. And American does not do anything. Like they stay the same like platform. And then you see McDonald's try to take a stand, and then Taco Bell takes a stand, and then this person takes a stand, and everybody now looks like they have modern buildings, but it's the exact same food. They don't change anything. Taco Bell was the only place that I ever saw like try to throw in some flavor, and they threw in those little bowls of like rice and like cantina and a little bit like more Latin flavor to it.
You're completely right.
They're the only ones who really went for it, and Taco Bell is the first company to start going bankrupt right now.
I was going to bring that up. 2018 is projected they'll be closing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe that really.
I would because I can see that Taco Bell opened up a lot more than it can chew because it thought that it can take what it did. Imagine the majority of these companies are run by franchises, by people like me and you that just decided to run a Taco Bell.
Right.
But I'm not run by Taco Bell. I didn't buy that property. So me going bankrupt, that makes you start losing money because we have a contract. You're not making that money on that street anymore. Dude, that happens all the time. Small business owners can't run it the same way that they were running their corporate system, and they're out of that corporate line, so they can't tell them what to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, whenever I find a successful small-time restaurant, I try to support it as much as I can, because it is really hard for these smaller restaurants to compete with places like the fast food that's on every corner.
Hole in the Walls have the best food.
Of course.
Hole in the Walls have the best food. They have
long wait lines. Because you know what? Food. Here's my thing about, and this is a common complaint that I've had for a while. The thing about these small restaurants, these places that get rated 4 or 5 stars on Yelp, the thing about them is that they're extremely good, but you always end up with the same problem everywhere you go. Small location, long wait times, long service. Why? Because they started out small. They got a really good following on Yelp. They got really good reviews. Next thing you know, a bunch of people start trickling in, and they don't have the space for them.
Capital.
They don't have the time. They don't have the time to accommodate everybody. And then you start seeing reviews go down a little bit because they're like, I had to wait forever. The food took forever. Or they'll get good reviews saying it took forever, but the food is great.
Yeah. And the food is so worth it.
Yeah. And you know what? And not to cut my point off too much, but you mentioned something a second ago about sushi restaurants, and here's the thing about millennials and this whole chain restaurant situation in millennials. Portion control is a really big thing for the millennial generation, okay?
That's true.
The thing is, if you look at a buffet, when we were kids, okay, buffets were the best idea, right? It's like you can get all this food for such a cheap price, right? The older we got, I think we kind of looked at buffets and we were kind of like, you can't give all this food away.
No, but on top of that, you're kind of disgusted because you know that it's all just like
sitting there,
roach coached.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's roach coached.
It's been marinated by roach.
It's just been sitting there and just being thrown around, and the same pots reused, and they don't really wash it. They just heat it up, and they're just trying to move, And sanitation is a big thing for millennials too.
Yeah, it is.
Because you'll see like our parents and stuff that they grew up in the construction age and stuff, and they'll open up a burger while full dust is blowing into their burger, and they'll still take a bite, like if nothing happened. I'll be trying to hide the dust at least, but you'll see the dirt, and it's delicious. It's great.
That's exactly what it is.
And that's another big portion of why millennials aren't going to these food chains, because they know that they just pre-steam them to a certain temperature that doesn't necessarily kill all the bacteria. It doesn't even take off the lipstick.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You bring up a really good point, actually. You know what? You brought up now that it just clicked in my head right now. Millennials, since we're talking about them, millennials are so used to seeing the world on the internet. They're so used to seeing, beautiful places in Malaysia and all sorts of places like that, but, exotic locations in Belize and all this stuff like that. They're so used to seeing experiences that when you give them food that's not the authentic thing, a lot of them have this cynicism towards it that this is not the authentic meal. So they'd rather go to a hole in the wall that they could find it at, or they'd rather try to make it themselves.
Or they go to a fancy restaurant that gives them that full pleasure.
And they'll spend more.
Yeah, and they spend more, but they're willing to spend more for the experience because a hole in the wall is not it doesn't have the full package. You know, like you'll be in an area that doesn't look as appealing, but the food's great, but it doesn't look appealing, so you're just kind of like, whatever, I'm here. But the food's amazing. Or you'll have a great place and the food's crap. And then you're just like, the food was crap, but the place looks great. So like we're chasing something that is just like the full package. And a lot of the thing has to do with, if you look online, you see these gourmet meals, these gourmet foods and different restaurants all over the place in our local area that we don't really look for.
Yeah, because we're too busy going
to the same places. We're going to the same places. So once you figure those out and you go, they have the greatest food, dude.
Yeah.
The greatest food.
But at a higher price,
at a higher price, but
it's worth it.
The vibes are all there for food.
Yeah.
The vibes are all there for food. It's not like, dude, have you ever gone to Taco Bell and seen how angry people are in the line?
Oh yeah, because they just want it so fast. Every second that you take that's longer than what they want to wait.
Like, they'll literally be sitting there like, fuck. And they're just like, a friend of mine got scissors. Like he got a dude like at his window, like, because I think he like tapped a guy's car in front of him, and this dude just went off, man. Like he started like yelling at my friend. My friend had a pair of scissors, so he tried to like just hold on to the scissors just in case. The dude grabbed his scissors, was like, "Yeah, you got some fucking scissors. You got some scissors." he grabbed the scissors. He's like, "What about your scissors now? Huh? What about them now?" Dude? And then they called the cops, and he was like, "He had scissors," and he's like, "He was in my car, man. What was I gonna do?" Yeah.
Taco Bell 3 a.m. situations. Okay, but stay away.
That's another thing. We can add that as another topic to the entire thing. Like, we don't want to deal with that. We don't want to deal with the people. We want things that are quick, to ourselves. Have you seen this? There's this restaurant that they specialize in their ramen noodles. But
Dragon Ball Z place?
No. But their biggest specialty is their isolation. they have cubicles where you don't even speak to somebody in the menu. They give you basically a test, like an ABC test, and you choose what you want. What type of noodles do you want? Do you want angel hair? So you choose B. Do you want this sauce? You choose A. Do you want this topping? So you slide it under the table. They open it up and your soup comes. You don't speak to anybody. You don't see anybody, and it's just literally
a detached experience.
And you're in your cubicle by yourself with your little ramen, and you eat your plate, and you leave your money and leave. That's blowing up.
Really?
Because people don't have to experience the whole like, oh, so what do you want? I want this, and then they never show up, and you're waiting. It's a little quick, boom. This is what I want. It comes. This is what I need, and you just come and eat fast. It's fast food, but it's more advanced. It's a more advanced fast food that is literally cooked, given to you, right then and there, and that's it.
There you go.
But you don't have to deal with the human to human experience, and that's something that's blowing up because people don't want to see people. I personally don't like people that much.
Yeah, you know what? You brought up a good point. Kathy actually, you know what? Kathleen first says, I feel nowadays people eat at home before going out to be able to splurge on the pricey drinks for the night. And that's completely true. A lot of drinks do cost.
Yeah.
Drinks definitely cost.
Drinks cost a lot, but me personally, I'll go and buy a bottle, and we'll drink that entire bottle first, and I'll have one beer when we show up there. But I'll have the time of my life because I already have like 3 drinks. and then with that beer, I'm just like, yeah, what? So I already, in terms, are denied them from my service.
Right.
So I am a part of this chain killing fiend machine that we're just driving and we're grinding and we don't care. Corporate systems. Fuck them.
Hitting Kathy's point really quick about hating people, she said, trust me, I work in Wendy's and a guy was waiting so long for her food, it wasn't her fault, she's just a cashier. She told him and he threw a drink at her.
That's just very rude.
And that's why, and you see, that's why people are avoiding places like Wendy's, because you know what? It's like the Walmart at 2 a.m. experience, where all you see is the trash around,
and it's just a long line, and everybody's just acting up, and they're just
it's kind of that thing. People just want to avoid that entire experience. They'd rather.
Some
people would rather pay. A lot of people nowadays, whatever, we'll say millennials because that's what we're talking about. A lot of millennials nowadays would rather pay the extra $20, $30, $50 just to have a better experience. You know what? And I'll ask you a quick question. It's 10:30. We've been going for about an hour, so we're going to end it pretty soon.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you one question at the end, and then we'll do a final thought.
Okay.
Last question right now. Chain restaurant that you would like to keep, that you would want personally to stay open because you like it so much. What chain restaurant do you think should stay open, and why?
I would have to say Flanagan's, bro.
Flanagan's
because it's just
it's just a big chain.
That
I thought it was just in Florida.
It is just in Florida.
But it's a chain. Still a chain.
It's a chain down here.
Let's say throughout all 48 states.
All 48 states. All right. 50.
This is not 1940 whatever. What? There have been 50 states for so long.
We have Alaska.
How did I just say 48?
We have Alaska and we have Hawaii.
This is why I said 48.
The first 48. Oh.
The first
48. All right. So the chain, all of them closed down. All of them. I don't have a favorite chain that's in all 50 states.
Really?
I do not like the corporate system. If I can get rid of my bad eating habits like Taco Bell, Burger King, McDonald's, all that those little quick snacks, if I can get rid of that, dude, I would be forced to eat good. So I would say they all have to go. and as far as Applebee's and all of them, dude, you're way too expensive for honestly the same meat that I can buy. Like, if you go to Brimstone, you're going to see what steak is about, dude. Mm-hmm. You go to Ruby Tuesdays, you pay $14 for a steak, and you're going to be here like, oh.
Where's the rest of it,
yeah,
right?
Like, a little tiny slab of 6-ounce steak, and it's medium rare, but they only cook it rare because they only sear it. They don't know what you're talking about when you say medium rare. I don't get it. But, and they give you this little tiny piece of meat for $16 a plate, and then a little tiny size of potatoes and broccoli.
And you said the number, it is 16.
It is $16.
It is that number.
You go to Brimstone. You go to Brimstone. You're gonna pay top dollar for this. Between two people, it was roughly $120 with one drink each.
Wow.
One cocktail each. But
that's a
this steak was like this.
That's what she said.
This steak was like this.
I'm sorry.
And and it was just the most delicious steak I've ever tasted in my entire life. It was marinated correctly. It was cooked correctly.
It was a good cut of meat.
It was everything. Like they give you the full experience. It was a modern look. It was good food, and they cooked the potatoes by crushing actual boiled potatoes. It's not just like
not instant mashed potatoes.
Not instant mash that a lot of these companies do.
What restaurant are you talking about?
Brimstone.
Yeah,
Whichever, however you say it, that's on you. But Brimstone.
If I could keep a chain restaurant open, and we're talking big time, I would honestly keep Cheesecake Factory open.
I didn't even think about Cheesecake Factory.
Here's the thing about Cheesecake Factory, okay? Is it overrated? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is really good.
Have I ever gotten bad service? Nope. Have I ever gotten bad food?
Nope.
Like bad food? Nope. Has it ever been okay to good? Yeah. Yep. Has it ever been bad? Nope. Service is always good. People are always friendly. The food is always reliable. I've had everything from spaghetti and meatballs to burgers to chicken marsala, whatever. A bunch of stuff on there.
But you know what that is? Let's get deeper.
Cheesecake
into
Factory.
Let's get deeper into these chain owners. Let's get deeper into this.
Okay. Because that does matter. It does.
The reason.
I interject for like 5 seconds.
Don't close Buffalo Wild Wings down. That's my favorite chain.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo's the spot.
So I'm going to tell you the difference about these these other chains that you never even spoke of. All right, so the reason why they're not taking off is because they've gone corporate. They no longer have a family value of who they hire, how they present themselves, how they market themselves, and what they stand for.
Right.
All these other companies just hire whoever and just run the store. That's it. And however they run it, if they're aggressive, if they're nasty, if they're this, it doesn't matter. They'll send a complaint to corporate, and corporate rubs their ass with it, and that's it. Like,
as
it
long
doesn't
as
matter.
the numbers are
You're
right.
still gonna come in.
Yeah, as long as the numbers are
Exactly.
in, they don't care.
So I would say that this company, the reason why you like them so much is because they take their time
Yeah.
to really interview their people, that they have to fit a specific type of personality.
Yeah. Cheesecake is a very well-oiled machine.
Yeah, it is. It is, because every time I go there, nobody ever has given me any type of attitude. They're always very friendly. They always come around very often. Like, they're always on top of your table. At a point, I was annoyed. Like, how many times you got to come to my table? I told you I was good already. But I'd much rather them tell me that 8 times versus me sitting there and, like, looking for this person.
Like, where are you? Yeah.
Yeah, looking for this person and having a cigarette break.
Because, I mean, you know, I've had plenty of friends that have worked at Cheesecake Factories, and their training regiment and their expectations out of you and their entire process is pretty in-depth, and they have, like, a very... you know, deeper than Chick-fil-A type of customer service attitude.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
They take care of you.
Of course, their biggest concern is the customer and how the customer feels. Yeah, and a lot of people are the numbers and how the numbers feel all the time.
Yep.
So they don't care who they hire. They don't care who they serve. They just want money. So their marketing schemes are just very generic.
Yeah.
They don't target a specific market. They don't have a niche. It's just, I serve food. Eat my food. And that's why these chains have to go. They have no personality. They're corporate systems already. They're run by people who are sitting at home and just dictating how this has to keep going. Like, who are you, dude? And work.
I agree.
Get up and work. You're sitting at home collecting millions for other people slaving for you, and you have no personality behind your work. If you actually sat there and gave, then you would actually have something going on.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, even a place like Buffalo Wild Wings, it is a good place, but if you look at their menu, it's really unorganized, and it's very all over the, like, they've got everything from teriyaki chicken to meatballs and spaghetti to burgers to steak,
and all it takes is specific,
which is good, but like unorganized.
All it takes is specific events,
yeah,
for them to offer that portion of the menu, or specific times. So let's say you have a tennis match that, you know, there's a bunch of people playing tennis, and boom, now you start offering your barbecued specials at a specific price. So
right.
now that's the time that you bring them out, and after that they're in the back of the menu as an extra. And then same deal with anything else. Like you have baseball games, you ball franks, wings, you know, at a cheaper price with specific beers, American beers,
a personality.
You know? Yeah, like you give it a personality, give it days that you do certain things. Like that's why the Ale House is very successful.
Yeah,
because every single day they have themselves a different thing. And what I've gone every Wednesday, like it was a specific thing. And the last time I went on Wednesday,
this is the Ale House. This is the Ale House we're talking about.
It was completely different. And I went one Wednesday, and they had like a PBR with a shot. And I was like, oh, that's great. And then the next Wednesday I went, it was Jameson with something else. And I was just like, dude, this is what it's about. That I come here the same day, a completely different time of the week or the month or the year.
Right.
And you give me something to choose from. You can't have the same options all the time.
No.
The people, the food chains and the clothing companies and anything that has to do with marketing and sales, if they stay the same, they will fail.
It's true.
Especially
you need
for
a
us.
personality.
Especially
I agree with
for
that.
us. We grew up to flashy cartoons. Our parents grew up to black and white.
Yeah.
TV movies. So they don't think at the rapid rate we do.
Yeah.
We see flashes, we see movement, we see colors at a completely different rate than our parents.
Yeah. And the millennials that this article or whatever refers to are even quicker and more instant gratification than we are.
Yeah.
You know, and okay, so Vittoria in the chat says, I will always prefer good food over anything. Mm-hmm. It could be the ugliest place ever. Obviously no roaches, but just ugly. But if the food is banging, you'll see me there with a beer. In Panama, the culture here is so used to cooking at home or going to a friend's house to eat that usually McDonald's or Taco Bell aren't even paid attention to. Yeah, and it's the same thing, you know, back in, you know, India, Pakistan, anywhere but America, really. A lot of the places are so used to making or eating their food at home that, yeah, these fast food places are just like, the fast food places are just for fun.
Another thing that I'm gonna say why fast food chains aren't taking off is because they close early. A lot of them close early. Only Wendy's and Taco Bell will you find late night.
Yeah.
If the reason why is because they understand how money works. They understand how money rolls. If I sacrifice a couple more employees for this extra amount of hours, I'm gonna grab that wave of people that come. It's another lunch shift. Those drunk Miami people that go out. They start to go out at 11 versus leaving at 6. Up north, dude, every single gas station in Highlands, North Carolina, dude, by 11 o'clock, you can't buy beer anywhere.
Yeah, I've lived in Virginia, and I can agree with that. By 9 o'clock, the liquor stores are closed.
Done.
If you want to get alcohol, you actually have to drive. You have to drive up an hour out of your way into Maryland to get some alcohol.
Exactly. Where it's a populated city. If you're not in the city, dude, everything's closed. Your gas stations are closed. Your beers are, and they don't serve past a certain time, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So. That's another thing down here. Everything is just like you can get it at whatever time you want.
Yeah, it's true.
You can get it at whatever time you want, and that's why like we're getting tired of it because if you gave us the same spot at 2 a.m. that gave us really good fresh food, even though Pincho Man was not fresh food, it was fresh food, but it's not like good for you. Like it was really greasy and whatever.
Right.
But he was available at whatever time you wanted, man. Like Pincho Man, I don't know if any of you. Like
everybody in the chat knows about Pincho Man.
Laugh, do whatever you got to do. Show me that you guys understand what Pincho Man is, because Pincho Man was life when I was partying. It was life, and if I could find Pincho Man, put his address and tell me where he's at right now, because I'll go tomorrow. For my lunch break, I'll go to Pincho Man's.
I'm gonna be late coming back.
I'm gonna be late coming back.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
The checks are already separated. We're good.
Oh, everybody's sending their hearts and everything.
All right. Give me an address, please, because I know somebody knows.
Massachusetts, it's illegal to sell alcohol on Sunday.
Look at
Sam
that.
says.
Yeah, look at that.
There you go. So don't live in Massachusetts on a Sunday if you want to get drunk.
Yeah, so it's specific times in certain areas that it's you're not gonna get anything. And down here, at the time that all these places across the world, across the United States close at, we're starting to get ready. At 9 o'clock, we're just like, oh, you're going to be there at 11? All right. You show up at 12 because you took a 2-hour shower. You had a few pregame drinks with your boys. You did your thing, and then you go out there. And that's how we are. By 12, 1 a.m. is when we start to party. So by 5, 6,
we're ready to eat.
We're ready to eat.
Late night city, man.
So what do you got? So what do you got? You got Taco Bell. You got Wendy's. And Wendy's closes at 3.
Crystal says all the bars and clubs close at 2 a.m. in California.
Gotta go to Cali.
Gomez says
about that every time I hear it mentioned.
2-hour shower. Hell no. No, but it's not a 2-hour shower. Like you take a shower, you get ready, you're hanging out, you pregame, and then by the time you leave, it's 2 hours. Because you know how hard it is to get a group of people to leave at the same time down here in Miami. Impossible. Say 9 o'clock. You're leaving at 11, bro.
All right.
Say 10 o'clock. You're leaving at 12, bro.
All right. Gomez asks, if a pancake was inserted in a CD player, will Aunt Jemima's mixtape be heard through the headsets?
It would be so fire that your brain would be filled with, like...
You mentioned no syrup.
Oh, I can't say syrup.
So maybe not.
I can't say syrup. Sorry. No, Aunt Jemima's syrup is life. So if it's just pancakes, no. They will not do it.
Incredible. Well done, Gomez. Well done. All of Gomez. I'm not gonna lie. I've skipped a lot of Gomez comments because they will steer the podcast into a place it does not need to go. But I've been reading and I do appreciate every single one of them, guys.
Yeah.
Now it is 10:45. We've been going for about an hour and a half, so it's been a really good show. Let's close it up, guys. Guys, it's been episode.
But I love you guys.
I know it's been a good time, guys. It's been episode 19 of Shut Up, Let's Talk Live. Oh, the titties out! Oh no!
My heart.
You're not gonna get mine, no.
No.
You're not gonna get these milk duds.
No.
On the camera.
I got innies, dude. My innies are fine.
Don't show me.
No, but my innies are fine.
Don't prove it.
I don't have to. They just got it. Look, I see it again. Look, with the little innies. Little innies. Like dude, like my nipples are like caving in. I feel like it's trying to dig to the core. Where else are they gonna go, dude? Even when it's cold, I don't have nipples, dude. I can't go like this, and it's just like, where'd you go?
Your nipples are directly linked to your heart. Now. right, guys. And on that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us on episode 19. We've been joined along here with the DarkSighed / Carlos Baca. Where can they go ahead and find you on the social media, man?
All right, so on Facebook, it's Carlos A. Baca. You guys can search me up. And on Instagram, it's DarkSighed _ DarkSighed _ DarkSighed, not SIDE, like not the dark side.
Not like this side of the fence.
Yeah, not the side of the force, like, oh yeah, I'll choke you when I want.
Like I sighed because I just came. Yes, like that.
Not that guy. It's just the dark side. Like I took a breath. Like, fuck.
Exactly.
Fuck life. How do you tell the dark to sigh?
Like Darth Vader.
When the dark gets frustrated.
When the dark is just mad enough, he's just like, fuck my life. Why do I have to deal with this? So that's basically my name. Like, why do I have to deal with this? So DarkSighed _ and IG. And I don't even know if I have other social media platforms. If I do, I forgot the passwords.
Let him know, yeah, exactly.
I forgot the password, so if you find them, let me know.
But yeah, well, in the meantime, guys, if you guys want to follow me, it's at @AlzarChand on Twitter. You guys can obviously follow me on Facebook like you're doing right now and watching on. If you guys want to follow the show, it's Shut Up, Let's Talk everywhere. Google, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Instagram, all of it. Everybody have a great night. Stay dry, please. It's been raining for the last 2 or 3 days in Miami or Florida, whatever. So stay dry, folks. Get out of the floods. Learn how to swim if you don't know.
I think I saw a whale in the rainwater the other day.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. I saw an article that says don't let your kids in the water. There's a bunch of bacterias. So I would suggest not doing it because I do agree with bacterias coming from lakes. So do yourselves a favor.
Exactly,
man, dude.
So exactly. So
I'm not gonna get into conspiracy theories.
Yeah, not on this episode.
Not on this episode.
Next episode we'll get into all that. So until next time, guys, have a great night, folks. Be safe, please. Feel free to watch back the episode if you missed it. It's going to be uploaded as soon as we are done. Shout out to Jose, who's also been hanging out with us, checking out all the chats and monitors.
Hi!
With the heel is up. Until next time, folks, love, peace, chicken grease. I've had too many beers.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for hanging out.
Shut Up, Let's Talk, episode 19. We're out.
Peace and love.